Amen. So now I'm parked in the same place I don't.
Okay. We'd like to say good morning to everybody here at the church, the Antioch Baptist Church, and those of you who are out there on the web. This morning is October 27th, and we're dealing with Psalms 62. It's dealing with David and how he's talking about how he's resting in God. So, like I say, the subject today is Psalm 62. The writer of David, and he's talking about how much he needs to rest in God. And as Christians, we need to rest as well. Because his human rest is only it's only temporary. But God's rest is eternal. There's no more. We have someone pray us in.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this morning. We thank you for this whole week. We just ask you to bless and keep us. Bless our members, bless our pastor, just bless those that are in need of your arms of protection. We ask you to continue to keep your arms of protection around us and continue to love and forgive us. In your Jesus' name, amen.
Okay, before we go into this Psalm 62, the writer is David, and he's talking about all his trials and tribulations. And he's talking about how God has rescued him once again. And he's talking about that when you have no one to turn to, when it's a lesson for us, that we need to turn to God. Mm-hmm. Man can only do it so far. And no man only gonna want to do it so far. But God always, you can always find rest. That resting at home or resting away from somewhere, vacation is not, it's only temporary. Once again, we're talking about eternal spiritual rest, which is much greater and much better than what the rest we have here. Any comment before we start? You know, we live in a too busy economy. Everybody's so busy doing everything. You never enough, seem like you never enough time to catch up, you know, with your job, with your work, with your family, trying to keep up with the Joneses. Yep. All this stuff, and the sad part of it, no one really pays you no mind about it. Mm-hmm. That you all out of debt, like a Christian, we're gonna rush for that. Thanksgiving, we're gonna rush for that. Mm-hmm. You know, any little thing, we rush for a ball game or everything. You know, we always rushing to get to work, rushing to, you know, to go home, you know. It's not going nowhere. And why are we rushing so much, but we never rush to church? Yeah. That's the only time we take our time. That's the only time we slow down. Everything else, we always in a rush. Even your kids in a rush. We don't have enough time to even take time to eat with one another. Everybody's in a rush. And my question is, for what? And I even do it myself. Why did I do that? It's not like it's going somewhere. It's not. So I spoke my little sermon this morning, and we'll go ahead and start with Psalm 62. So I'd like to start us off with that.
To the chief musician, to Jeff Duthan, a psalm of David. Truly my soul waiteth upon God. From him cometh my salvation. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be greatly moved.
Okay, let's look at this. Now David's the king now. And you very seldom see somebody with leadership and power would even say that. They think David will rock and David's salvation. That, you know, everybody should be leaning on him. But David's smart enough and humble enough and believer, faithful enough to know that God is the true provider of all things. He didn't lean on his wealth and his power and his greatness. He knew all those things come from God. Right. And if we're smart enough, everything you've done, you ain't really done nothing. God has provided you with and made ways for you out of no ways for you to have. So the humbleness. This is a great king now who didn't have to do that, but he did it. But he knows where all his help and strength come from. And the same with us. We can't do nothing without God. Any other comments before we move on? Next then.
All right. Salvation.
Read 3 and 4.
Okay, wait a minute. It's not in the book. It's not in here.
Okay, if you
It
don't mind.
starts the time.
Yeah, you just want to read 3. You got your Bibles?
Yeah. You want me to read 3 and 4?
Yes.
How long will ye imagine the mischievous against a man? You shall be slain, all of you, as a bowling ball. Shall you be as a topping fence? The only consult to cast him down from his was an excellent. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse anywhere. They curse wrong.
Okay, okay, thank you, sister. I'm going to read from King James Version. It said, how long will you assault a man? Would you allow, would all of you throw him down, leaning the wall, the tottering fence? They fully intend to topple him with a lofty place. They take the light and lies with their mouth, and they bless, but they put their hearts, in their hearts they curse. Like I was reading out of Psalm 3 and 4, he's talking about how people like to see if you go up and do well, they like to see you fall. They like to see you go down. And any little thing, if you're doing well, everybody gonna point the finger. Say, I knew he wasn't no good, and I knew they wasn't no good. But you know, the top of this, the sad part is a lot of times church people do this. Why don't we want to see everybody do well? But it's sad though, because if they can do well, it shows you how to do well.
Shows you people not really Christian.
Yeah.
They faking.
Yeah.
Yeah, fickle's the word. Fickle.
And it's sad. If, you know, my brother and sister in the family real nice, why would I want to tear them down? They might show me how to do better, or help them, or help each other out. Or if I do good, why would somebody want me to do good? Especially someone you know and you see God's blessings. But like I said, if you're close to God, or a person being blessed, you're going to be blessed as well. And you might hinder your blessing for being a hateful and mad at them.
But some people just don't see it that way.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I don't know.
Some people are sex maniacs, and if you don't do it with them, then they're doing it with a lot of other people, they're gonna hold you back and bring you down, and that's what I'm going to do. So, you know, that's why it's sex maniacs. And I live a square life, and I live like Christ. I'm not doing anything with anybody. And the Lord told me to keep my burden in the Lord. I haven't lain with anybody.
But Brother James made a good point. They're talking about we're not really Christian when we act like that. We're not mature enough. We have not actually seen the light of what God wants us to see. And the thing is that, and then brothers and sisters, we need to remind each other constantly about that.
Christ is the example. He didn't go around, doing sexual immoral things. He couldn't have. He could have been worthy to die on the cross. But people, they want Jesus, but they want it watered down. They want the gospel watered down. They don't want to, they don't want to be rejected and be unpopular. They want to be popular with everybody. You got to go with the flow. If you don't go with the flow, then they don't like it.
Okay, we move to verse 5 and 6 in Psalm 62.
My soul waits only upon God, for my expectation is from Him. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be moved.
And he makes a powerful statement here. Rock and salvation, fortress. He's talking about a place he can go where he's safe at, and he knows God is going to protect him as well. We all need a safe place. I don't care who you are. It always should be somewhere we can go at and just, just kind of calm down and just kind of gather yourself. It might be in your house, unfortunately, sometimes it might be in your shed, outside your house, or it could be, somewhere in the forest. I don't care, but we all need a safe place. Everybody needs somewhere where they can go at, when they feel safe and they're protected, And but like I say, man thing is only temporary. With God, it's permanent, safe place. That no one is gonna bother you there, and you can kind of pull yourself together, Because it's just too much out here. Too much danger, too much things to worry about, too much to look out for, And we need safe places.
But, and I also feel that if we trust in God, we can, it's like my place is high. Yeah, I don't have central air.
Yeah,
So I would go to the park
yeah,
and just sit, take me some magazines, and just read my magazine.
yeah.
And I wouldn't have any fear of anybody. I mean, people would come past and go do whatever they doing. But I wouldn't, do this. I just sat there, read my magazine. Because I feel like if I'm believing in God, wherever I am, He can protect me. So I just,
I thought about that. We don't know how much dangers that have been forepassed by us. Now, just you come to work, going to the mall, or coming here to church, because anybody could come in here right now and do what they do. And we see it all the time. But God is always providing protection. The thing that we always worry about is protection that we can lock in our doors and shutting down things. But you see, you got many people outside in your house more than the inside. You still can't keep them out. And we have sometimes we even leave our doors unlocked, the windows unlocked, and we could. But still, though, God is still there protecting you. While you always thinking you protected, God is always protecting. You can't, it's too much to worry about out there. You can't protect from everything.
and so we have trust in Him that He'll take care of us. And if we believe that, and show confidence that we believe what we're talking about.
But then on the other end of that, don't need to go out and do foolish things. Now, if you know these, you go in dark alleys and 3 or 4 dark alleys there, and you just walk, you don't go where. You gotta use common sense a lot of times.
Where trouble is.
Yeah.
Unless it's for the Lord's sake.
Yeah.
But just go out there and go out East End and go into worst alley, walk through at midnight, that would be,
Or anything, anything risky, whatever. Taking medicine, you just don't take what he gonna protect. We just don't do stuff. Or drive extra thing. You gotta use common sense now too. But some people believe whatever I do is gonna be okay. He'll say you jump off of 20-foot. We can't do that. We have to. You don't tempt God. But in the normal everyday thing, He's gonna be always there for your insurance. That everybody wants you to insure you for everything, but they don't want to pay when something happens. This is the sure insurance, spiritual insurance of God.
He said we can have angels, and you got to believe you got angels watching over you. And He will dispatch to you.
So what David doing is insuring himself and reassuring his people, because all the people watching David now. He's a leader now, and all the people looking how he's reacting. He could really just trip out and panic and get lost somewhere. But he doesn't. He stays and hangs on in it. That's a lesson for us, I think, too. We're at 7 and 8.
The only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be moved. In God is my salvation and my glory. The rock of my strength and my refuge is in God.
Read verse 8 too, my friend.
Trust in him at all times, ye people. Pour out your heart before him. God is a refuge for us. Salah.
So he said God is the only one to save you. And that's the only one, and that's the only one he's gonna glorify. He's not gonna glorify man, he's not gonna glorify himself, but he knows he's the one that provides it. He bring it back to God once again. Acknowledgement. I don't know why we don't like to acknowledge things when we get successful. You know, we always want to take credit like we done it. But see, he's great, you know, one of the most powerful men ever. And he giving the glory and acknowledgement back to God.
Right.
Once again, showing humbleness. He's talking about he is his defense, someone who always protects him, and his refuge, a place to go. And it said how many people, I don't care if you're rich, poor, or whatever, don't have a place to go. We got a lot of people out in the streets right now, a lot of people who lost in the world. Just don't have nowhere really to go at. And that's sad. Some of it is because of their own choosing, some of it because they, unfortunate things happen. But it's a little thing, but it's a big thing when you think about it. Right. Not having nowhere to go. Maybe Jesus said the foxes had somewhere to lay their, and birds, but the Son of Man had nowhere to go. But he did it because he showed us that so we have somewhere to go.
Right. And that's one thing that, I've said this before, that sometimes animals use more sense than humans do.
Yeah.
And we are the ones with the brain.
Supposedly.
And they move on instinct a lot of times.
Yeah.
But, they are even cautious around certain things that are dangerous. And we
all got to challenge it, see how dangerous it is, Just say a lot of the animal shows, you always see people with these going to swamps or going to these wild things and try to trap these animals. And then they end up being trapped. They end up being the bait. You know it's dangerous, and you know something could happen anytime. Then they want to punish the animal, and something happens, trying to kill all that. Don't go where they at. Don't stay out of their habitat. You stay in yours. But we just got to challenge it out there. It can't be that dangerous. You see it is, or they get ate up, they won't get mad. You lion tamers or whatever, or snake guys and all that. That's the reason why.
When that lion tamer, it's been years ago, stuck his head in this
He's been doing it for years.
Yeah. But
and after 30 years.
Man, that thing,
or aggravated or something.
Yeah, it did it.
They don't want everybody to feel sorry for him. You've been teasing and tempting him for 30 years.
And like some of these people, they haven't done it lately.
Yeah.
Heard, but with bungee jump off of a building or something.
Yeah.
And think that bungee would keep them from hitting the ground.
Most of the time. Yeah. But then the other time, that's the problem.
And this one guy, he had a snake. I can't remember. I think it was a python. And he raised that snake from, I don't know, from a small snake until it become a big snake.
Yeah.
Well, this particular day he was, feeding a rat or whatever he was eating. But for some reason, that snake wrapped his body around his arm and was pulling him down. It was a big old head, was pulling him down in the cage. And he started hollering for his brother. Brother was close enough to him and he ran in and he had to kill the snake. But to me, and that's not using good sense. To me, you got a big python that you think you can change into a pet. Some wildlife
That's their nature.
Yeah.
That's just like those worshipers in church.
Yeah. Exactly. Snake, yeah, jump in there with 7, 8 different poisonous type snakes. And be surprised when you get bit.
You ever see these animals, do gay stuff? You ever see these animals do gay stuff?
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's just important. It just shows us that the protection we think we have with our insurance, for our buildings locked down, our cars locked down, all these things, you know, these TV cameras and all that, it don't matter. If a person, if some people out there so wide enough and crafty enough, they can get around that. That, you know, you see here about different celebrities all the time, waking up somebody in their room or their house, you know. It just shows you if God is not with you or protecting you at a particular time, we have no hope. But he never leaves his people alone. That's one good thing we work with. And just like David, he's the same God today. He always gonna protect his people. And always gonna watch out for us. So that's very important for us to hold on to that and realize that. Because we ain't got nothing else to hold on to. Your bank accounts only gonna last so long. And if the Bitcoin thing happens, it might never be worth nothing anyway. Or your insurance policies, you know, they might pay up, they might not, but they always try to find a way not to pay up. You know, it just, you know, your health, you know, it's gonna, everything we need to depend on is with God. If it's gonna be done, it's gonna be done. Or if he's gonna protect you. He always had, look what he's done for you in the past. Look what he's doing for you now, and you know what he's gonna do for you in the future if we just believe and hold on to his unchanging hand. And it was talking about having your soul secure in God's hands. I read put it in his hands than anybody else's. Because I know what he's gonna do. He's gonna always watch out for him. Whoever these leaders today might sometime, might not even want to be bothered with you the rest of the time. Trusting and believing in God will take us a long way, and it is taking us a long way.
And the Lord saying that, David saying here about the Lord, he's unassailable. You know, you can't mess with him. Nobody can mess with him. He's the only one can't be messed with. And he compared it to a citadel, which is it's like a fortress, like up on a high rock, like up in the mountains, like on a rock, big rock up in the mountains. And an army tries to come there, and it's unassailable. You can't. It's just about unpenetrable. You can't penetrate that.
Well, just like a good example there, like all the castles that were built over Europe, they always try to build them around the water and like on the motorway, it's hard to get to it. And they dig holes all the way around, you know, so if you want to get to that, I'm going to see you first, and then if you do get to come through, you know, a lot of times they might put wild animals in the water or whatever. But they build it to make sure that you can't get to them. But people still always got to them, but for the most part, that's the example was. That's what David's using things we can understand that this place is a place of protection and a place of safety. And you know, David was in many wars and many battles, but he still didn't feel safe depending on man. He know that God is running through all these battles and wars and all these, you know, family turning against him. And even his own king that he was under, Saul, was against him. So, you know, he's always under constant pressure. If he don't know, who's going to know? We're at 9 and 10.
Yeah.
I'll read it. It said, surely the lowborn are but a breath, and the highborn are but a life. If waiting on a balance, they are nothing. Nothing. Together, they are only a breath. Verse 10, don't trust in the extortion or put vain hope in stolen goods through riches. Though your riches increase, you do not set your heart on them. Let me read this in King James. Yeah, I think that reads a little clearer. It says, surely men of low degree are vanity, and men of high degree are a lie. To be laid in the balance, they altogether lighter than vanity. Trust not in the oppressor, and become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them. Vanity, foolishness, believing, you think you're great or you're doing great things, and you only fool yourself in the world, That's the problem with the world today. We always have a lot of vanity, trickery. Everybody thinks they slick or smart or more skillful than other men. And there's always somebody that's more crafty and smart than you. And then it's talking about gaining wealth through trickery and robbery and all that. That's only temporary. We depend on that. We have different politicians today. I'm not going to name no names and done that. And it's only going to take them so far. And the sad part is we got people following that think it's all right. And he's telling you those things are not going to work. They seem to work for a moment, but after all, they all fall short.
Don't be a JR.
And the sad part is, a lot of these are church people. They follow this philosophy. You expect the world to follow that. To always beat the man out or short the man. But you got a lot of church people think that's okay now. And then we get our kids growing up and acting like that. We want to act like we surprised why they act like that.
Is that why they say the world's in the church? Because of that spirit?
Yeah. Because we got too much world in the church. Thinking the same way. And once again, let me get off on the subject again. We think because a person is a good business person out in the world, or that he's going to be a good business person, a good person, or a manager leader in the church. Two different worlds. Just like in politics, another different world. We see what happens when we try to mix all of them together. You have to look at the person. You have to look at the person's heart, to whether they're going to be a good leader or not, or a good father. And most of them don't want to be humble, that's one good point, and most of them don't want to follow nobody.
They want to be the leader, they don't want to follow.
And they have to be careful in politics. I read about, I think it was either one or two guys that had been elected into some office. I can't remember, like the Senate or something like that. And once they got in, they saw just how crooked people that you thought were your leaders were. And that's where you have to be grounded with God, because in politics, there's a whole lot of money coming in, and you have to make sure it goes where it's supposed to go, to the people.
Instead of your pockets.
Yeah. And some politicians are not that good at.
Or don't even want to be, They just see the power of the money grab, or whatever, in church or wherever. Some of us just can't handle the power, but we're not going to humble ourselves. And he's talking about weighing in the balance. Because it looks good and shiny and flashy don't mean it's good for you.
Right.
Or good food. How many times we ate food that look good, smell good, but it's tearing you up and killing you on the inside. We seem like we always fall for that one. And which is a normal tendency. But God gives you the intellect and tells them not to go, because he knows what the overall outcome is. Where we at now? 11, 12. You want to read that for me, Brother James?
God has spoken once, twice. God has spoken once, Twice have I heard this, that power belongeth unto God, and unto thee, O Lord, belongeth mercy, for thou renderest to every man according to his word.
So God is acknowledging that all power belongs to God. Whatever power or whatever physical strength or financial strength, all that came from God. It's a blessing of God. And talking about rendering mercy. Why is it, let me ask this question, that people who never give mercy want mercy all the time? You know, they want everybody to feel sorry when things happen to them, but when they hurt and punish and persecute people, they don't want to give no mercy. How does that work? To give mercy, you want to give mercy, you got to give mercy.
Yeah, I've seen a good point. I've seen a lot of killers, and they get in trouble, and then they're on television, they did all these horrific things to people, and then they want mercy.
Want the court to spare them, want to, the death sentence to spare them. But what you wasn't worried about when you had people at their most vulnerable, weakest hour, you took advantage of.
Then there's situations wherein people see things happen and it's over there. And because I'm not showing, I'm acting myself, I'm not showing mercy, then it's not affecting me. As soon as my brother, sister, son, or somebody that I know or me needs mercy, then I'm asking for it. It's different. That's how people see it.
An example of that with the hurricane thing. I remember when it first hit over in New Orleans and all through that everybody said, oh, them are bad people, and that's why God is punishing. I think, be careful. And it wasn't 2 years later that it started spreading through the whole South. Now, are they the same bad people, or you the bad people or evil people now? We can't be, instead of helping the situation, hurting the situation. And then a lot of them wouldn't want to help.
That's largely, Tony, people trying to make a difference. I'm not like him.
Yeah.
It's affecting him because he's ungodly, unchristian. They believe this, they believe that. Look at me, I'm not like that. So that's why the hurricane isn't here. But when it comes to me, I'm not going to say anything about that. But I need help.
And they reach their hand to them.
Hey,
Yeah. And cry even more and so.
you got you got politicians in some of these cities who have been states that have experienced tornadoes and hurricanes in the last year, voted against money to help FEMA and these other people because we just throwing that money away. First ones in line and crying about how slow the federal government is with giving me my money so I can help my community.
And then,
Hypocrites.
and then the point we got me though, people come and help, they try to run them off and beat them off and hurt them. Trying to help them rebuild and something, they don't want to help.
Looney Tunes.
Yeah. But then you cry about help. It's like me, if I'm helping whatever outside there and you bring me some food or whatnot, turn it over, I don't like this, I don't need it. But you have people do it all the time. Because it's not the exact thing you want. But it's what you need. And it's what the thing with God. He not provide you what you want, he will provide the things that you need.
That makes me think that people are saying or thinking, do what I say, but not what I do. I can tell you how to act, how you should cut your grass, when you should cut your grass, how many kids you can have, what your kids can do, but you do that and worse, but that doesn't apply to me. I'm different. This is why I'm doing it. Hypocrites. know, if you think and you know and you believe in God, you cannot propagate yourself. He has to do that. And when God does that, then you know that his power is all power, because you can't do nothing. And your objective is to get to heaven. So, if you know that, you know that any and everything that happens to me after I'm born, it has to be through the grace of God and from him, because he's the only one that can do this. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm just along for the ride. If you look at that, then that'll be a pretty good guidepost for how you live your life.
Let me look at some of the questions here. He said, why is rest important to us as individuals? Because remember, even God said, you know, in Genesis, you know, you work 6 days and then you rest on the seventh day. And we know, it's me speaking from my point of view, I know God don't need you rest, but he knew that man would work himself to death and work on the people under him to death if he didn't put this thing in here. Because he did the same example for us, that there should be a day of worship and giving back to him. Because if he didn't, people would never let you no work. They're trying to go get you that now. Cutting off overtime, working 7 days a week, you know. It's just sad, though, that of course, they don't mind resting over in some exotic item and laying back, but they want you to work your fingers to the bone, you know. That this rest is important just for us to psychologically, not only physically pull yourself together, but mentally and spiritually pull yourself together. We just need to do it every so often, because not, you'll crash, you'll burn, you know, your body can handle only so much. But we still keep pushing ourselves on things that doesn't matter, but we never push ourselves on things that's spiritual and holy, you know. We always don't mind resting and pulling back from that. But everything else is full speed ahead, you know. And the question is why it's important to you, but the thing is, unfortunately, it's not important to a lot of people. It should be. That you just need to take time out for yourself sometimes. You need to take time spiritually, physically, or whatever you're doing. It's not going anywhere. You got to regroup sometimes. You got to pull back. You just got to see where you're at. Because sometimes we keep pushing and we falling farther back instead of moving forward.
As human organisms, you can only exert yourself to a certain extent. And after that, you reach a limit. And once you reach a limit, you will be less effective. You'll make more mistakes because you're mentally, physically, and spiritually tired. You have to look at what you've done and where you're going. And if you don't do that, you just keep going down the path, and before you know it, you're at a point of no return. If I had reflected on this a little while ago, then I wouldn't be in the mess I'm in now.
It's a good point.
And you've seen an athlete like in competition, and he or she, they're really out there giving it their all, and you know something's wrong, and they got the camera on them, and then all of a sudden they just collapse, have to be taken off the course or wherever they're at, and taken to the hospital because they overdid it. I've seen it. I've seen it by years watching television. You can overdo it.
And once again, I keep harping. We push everything to the limit on things that don't matter. We always gonna take it to the max, but we never worry about overdoing stuff when so we definitely rest and pull back on that. But we're gonna overdo everything else now. Everything sky's to the limit, you know. But if we have that same spirit serving God, I'm just wondering how much He'll bless us and take us. You know, if we put that same energy like that, serving God and doing stuff for God, you know, don't tell Him how much He'll bless us. And we'll find rest behind the top of that.
Be much better off.
Yeah.
He'll give you.
Much happier and more satisfied. You know, more peace at peace in your mind and your heart.
But it won't take as much to satisfy
Yeah.
you. You won't be grubby, greedy all
It's going to give you strength when you feel like you couldn't go on. I mean, physically.
the time. Is personal.
Yeah.
Is a $500 million man, is $1 billion man more satisfied and important than a $500 million man?
No. And it's not what you have, it's what you do with it, to me. Yeah.
And how you live your life,
Yeah.
and how you got it. If you are a spiritually corrupt individual, ain't nothing you do. You just living a sinful life.
And like we always talking about, that person who's living that sinful life is just setting it up for somebody else to enjoy it. Just a go-between.
You know, I think it's harder to live in the world than it is to be spiritual and be Christian. I think it's
Yeah.
hard.
Too much to worry about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you sort of like a wind chime. Everywhere the wind blows, you got to react to that.
Yeah.
You even keel, know where you're going, know who you are, what you're trying to do. All of those different changes doesn't make any difference.
You can bypass all that.
Right. You don't have to rationalize and justify why you did something, why you didn't do something.
And then the thing is, like, you would expect a lot of young ones, but the old ones do it.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, nothing worse than the old fool. Trying to keep up with the young situation. Now, it's all right to stay somewhat, you know, but you can't do everything they do. Well, you try to, you can't drink everything and eat everything and try to, your body is still gonna take it. But we still got to try it.
Oh, yeah.
And we pay the price every time.
I grew up and I was watching a lot of people and they weren't in the church, and it's just like a lot of people, you know, well, people told me that, you know, God doesn't have a purpose for your life. You're not gonna live long. And that's what happened to most of them guys. They drank themselves to death, smoked themselves to death. Some of my relatives, you know, women and men, they, you know, God just shortened their days. You know, they doing the same thing they were doing ever since they were teenagers, whatever. They, you know, their days were shortened.
But this is what this lesson is talking about, that if we don't get nothing else, then we need to take time out for God. And that the only true rest that we ever have is through Him. The little rest you get here at the house, or the rest you get at home, or the vacations are all right, but they're only temporary. His rest is eternal. And the only way you can really be truly rested is through Him, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. You know, we get all three of those things. With our rest, we only maybe do the physical part, maybe a little bit of the emotional part. But with Him, He hits all those things for us. He can refresh and rejuvenate us, you know. Because like I said, we keep pushing, and it seems like we ain't getting nowhere. Like you see that rat on the maze, he's running, we ain't going nowhere. That's why a lot of us stuck there. We don't take time to rest.
He's calling us rats.
Not yet.
How you doing?
And no, I don't want any hate mail from the web. No, I was using it as an example. But I'm just saying, we push ourselves too hard a lot of times instead of placing our hope and faith in Jesus. And just take time out and rest and back up from the situation. Enjoy what you have sometimes and be thankful for what you have.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, the only true safe place we have is with God.
Like the Lord recharges our battery, He gives us strength.
Yeah. It's what we come to church to kind of rejuvenate ourselves. Really, we come here to worship. We're also resting. We're resting with God. This should be one of your rest places, nothing else. If we come here Sunday and just talk about our hopes and fears. But the main thing is that we know we're in the safe place under God's, within His house.
You have to think about how you got where you are. That's important. Because that will help you look to where you're trying to get. That's the ultimate goal.
Most people want to forget where they've been. I agree with you, but most people want to forget where they've been. They don't want to remember the painful episodes in their lives, the things that helped them to be who they are today. They don't want to.
Or ashamed of it.
Or they're ashamed of it, and they don't want to look back on it. So,
But when you come in here, you already know that you might be ashamed of your past, but your past is your past, you don't turn to your future.
yeah, but like he was saying, you need to be able to look back over what you've been through, what happened to you, what you've done, blah, 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 in order to help to craft the future. And I'm just saying that a lot of people don't want to look backwards. They find it either too painful or too sinful, or they just don't want to do it. And so if you don't have a foundation, you don't really have anything to build on.
I think people want to live lazily. They don't want to put energy into living. They don't have to think about it. If I did this yesterday, then it's all right today. And for 100 days, your behavior or whatever you did was wrong. It's easy to do that. And it's hard to think about doing the right thing and being true to yourself, to your religion, and adhere to the 10 commandments. People don't want to do that.
It takes work. It takes concerted work, not just okay, I'm going to do it. I mean, it takes a concerted effort in order to make a path in your life. You have to, like you said, you have to be genuine in your assertiveness. You can't pass that. You never get it, but you will be that path if you have to.
So, do you all think that if you basically become a good person that's embedded in the Christian belief, that you're going to have a life that will more or less survive all of these other things and just go on? It may not be easy, but just go. And this other crap doesn't mean anything. If that makes any sense. You know what I mean? If I'm here and I'm doing okay and I live that way, then whatever comes at me, I should be able to survive it. And I don't have all these conflicts about this, that, and the other.
And that's the conflict David was talking about, and knowing. Because he looked at all the stuff he'd been going through and went through, but he knew God, every time he called to God, God brought him out. Pulled him out of the fiery pit or the mud or whatever. With everything surrounding him, he still looked to God to protect him in all that. So that's what he's saying. And he's encouraging his people as well to look to God. So he's showing that he's doing it, but he's also setting an example. And we can do the same thing.
David had it happen to him personally, and he also had those hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years, let's just say since they were freed from bondage in Israel. It was there, it was empirical knowledge, that this is what happened. I did this for you. He knew that.
Yeah.
He's also saying it's vain to trust in anything else except the Lord.
Like Peter was saying, sometimes I look back from where I was born in this 3-room house with the toilet on the back porch. And then I was able to buy me a house, pay for it. And I wasn't satisfied because it wasn't $100,000 house. But it did the same thing. The $100,000 house did, kept it clean.
Provide shelter, provide shelter.
Yeah.
You go get the $100,000 house, and then maybe it's not good enough, maybe we need 150. When does it ever
$1 million
stop?
house, but the
Yeah.
same thing, provide shelter, that's all. That's all.
So I had to realize that I was blessed with whatever I had and just enjoy it, you know.
I got out of this lesson, and you said it, I got it from you, is human existence is temporary. What is promised to you is eternal. So why am I going to allow the temporary to interfere with the eternal?
That's a good point right there. But most of us put up all our hopes and aims and dreamed everything in the temporary thing.
That's because it's easier to believe in the temporary than the eternal.
You think so?
Yeah, because a lot of people don't believe in the eternal. A lot of people don't believe in that Christ is our Savior. A lot of people don't believe that. And if they believe it in certain degrees. Yeah, okay, yeah, I got over it this time. But then the next time, the storm is twice as bad. So I don't know about this time. It's easier to believe in what you say it all the time. It's easier to believe in what you see and what you do and what you feel right now. It is.
Those
people who don't.
those individuals that don't believe, when something happens to them, what's the first thing out of their mouth?
Oh, God.
But they don't believe in what they're saying. They're true, that they don't believe in what they're saying. So if they don't believe in what they're saying, it's so much lip service. Again, you got to believe that you believe that you believe that you know that you believe it, and on and on and on. And a lot of that takes work. It takes a relationship.
It takes trust.
It takes trust and a relationship. And if you don't have the trust, you don't have the relationship, you don't have the time, quote, unquote, time for it, you don't have the time to build that relationship, you don't have anything. So it's easy to believe in what you can see and feel and do and get right now. I want to get mine. I want to get me a retirement, and I want to have a boat, and then I want to have that $1 million house that Freddie ain't got yet. And then I want and I want it right now.
You know, I laugh because I think about all the things that I don't know. All the things, and some of them just simple. So, being in that position, why would you even question the existence of God? Because you didn't do it. You don't understand it. You can't understand it. How can you not believe in God?
Some people, I'm going to bring politics into this. Some people have the Trump syndrome. I did. Period. I did. I ain't got to believe in nobody else. Everybody else put no money in my bank. I did. Oh, my daddy did. They don't believe, again, that there's something that's more powerful than they are. You know what I'm saying? They just don't.
Let's say this, and I'm shutting up for a minute. Ever since 1950, this is my memory, I'm about 5 years old. The man claimed to know so much. He has been and have not found a cure for cancer and tell you why you got cancer. So why am I gonna listen to this fool tell me anything? God do that. That's waste my time. Waste my time. Anyway, I'm through for today.
So as we come to a close, any closing remarks about anything? If we don't get nothing else about this lesson, we know that David was trying to, and was telling us that the only true rest we have is through God. That the only rest, the rest we get is temporary. And we can only be satisfied and restless for somewhat. But true rest comes from God, and that rest is emotional, spiritual, and physical. It provides all three things, and it will rejuvenate you, revive you, because that's what we need. We need constant revival and rejuvenation. And then the only true protection that we have is through God. With all your weapons you have, and all the nice places you have, all the lockdowns you have, all the security you have, it's not going to be enough. If God is not there, you still just like you sitting out on an island or somewhere with no protection. So true protection comes from God, true rest comes from God. Now, if I'm trying to find those things, why would I look anywhere else? But we keep doing it. And we keep searching for those things, and all those things are right there. So it tells me where I need to keep turning to and staying with it. The only true one who can give it, and the only true one who can provide it. Everything else is wasting time.
That was one good thing that the Army did for me was to realize how good God has been. Because I was with a guy, he could pick any lock that you got. Combination didn't matter. And I said, well, look here. I'm in the Army with something.
A master thief, huh?
Yeah.
And then, one day we was training with hand grenades. And this guy pulled the pin on the hand grenade and dropped it. Right there, just like us, right here. He dropped it right here. And the guy had to kick it down to shoot to keep the rest of it from getting blown up. You don't think about that at the time until, you sitting here, just reminiscing about things that have happened. People want to kill you just because you're black.
Yeah. I fourth guessed it, but I don't even want to pour the gas that far, because it'll be another hour. So let us close out and let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for this moment. Lord, thank you for the hour. Help us to realize that the only way we can be truly protected is through you. The only way we can truly find rest is through you. Help us to stay humble. Help us keep trusting you. And help us to know that nothing is done without you. And nothing can ever be accomplished through your grace and through your blessings. Keep us and bless everybody here by the sound of the voice. Guide us. This I ask in your precious